next one we're going to talk about is just high-performing teams. Okay, what are those characteristics of a high-performing team? Sometimes you definitely know if you're part of a high-performing team and if you're not, right? So what does a high-performing team look like? Because that's what we are trying to strive for moving forward, as each one of these project teams are really high performers. Okay. First off, a high-performing team have individuals that are accountable, that have the right skills, and that have the commitment. Okay. And you can think about those in a lot of different ways, but I want to talk about the first one as far as accountability. What does accountability mean to you guys? In your roles today, in anything in life outside of work, what does being accountable to something mean to y'all?
Answering for your actions.
Yeah, being responsible for your actions and answering for them. Yep. What else? It's good.
Following through on your commitments.
Yes, following through on the commitments. Yes, you're being accountable, following through. Anybody else have anything different? Yeah, so accountability, like I have out here in the gray there, is just responsibility and focus. And no different what Heather said, you know, you're really having the responsibility for the goals, meeting those goals, okay? Whatever it is you're working on, your task, your overall project, you have taken the responsibility on that you are going to follow through with it. You're being held accountable. You've also got to have focus. So if you don't have focus, you don't really know where you're going in the very end. Okay, what's that overall goal? What are we trying to hit? What's that date? What's the schedule? What is that PCD that we committed to? You've got to have focus on the end result, on what you're going towards. Because if you don't, okay, you can kind of lose sight on what you're doing. You can lose, you know, you can stall out, right, in a project. You can hit one challenge and then you're just, you know, so you really got to have a lot of focus to be accountable. You got to have the right skills, okay? It's very important to have the right skills to be able to do the work, okay? Not everybody has the right skills for certain things, right? So you've got to have clear roles need to be defined, and they've got to have the good combination of skills, okay? So you can't have everybody focused. That's why we've got a project team. All of you guys have a different skill, okay? A different expertise. So a combination, bringing all of those together, okay, you've got everything you need for success in a project. And then communication. Always going to harp on communication as far as being one of the biggest things is communicating with each other within the team and communicating with that PM. Very important to you know, knock home how big it is to communicate to that PM about anything that comes up in your discipline area that may be a challenge, a problem, an issue that you see currently or moving forward that needs to be relayed. Commitment. What does commitment mean to you guys? If you have commitment to something. Who are you having a commitment to?
Project and
Team, yes. The team, the project. What else? You've got commitments. How about who are we doing this project for? Yeah, the public, our customers, right? We do all of these projects for the public out there, those customers, and we really got to have a commitment to them to get the project finished, see it through, right, to the end. Yeah, you've got to have that commitment, and you've got to know two things, mission and vision. What's the difference? Mission,
what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish.
what are we doing? Why are we doing it? Why am I doing this? Got to know the mission, right? Mission impossible. Why am I out here doing this? Why am I jumping off buildings? What is this for? Right? You got to know the reason why. Where's the vision?
How are you going to get there?
Where are we going? Right? Why are we doing it? Where are we going? You got to know the end. It's kind of like, it's not a race, but it's kind of like, hey, there's the finish line, right? You got to see where you're going and why you're doing it. Yes, got to have that commitment. It's a different way of thinking in these project teams. I think that's what we're really trying to instill in you guys moving forward in this project team, but every team that you're going to be a part of moving forward. What you're going to see right here is a good illustration of what a performance curve looks like, a team performance curve. And just kind of take this in. You start out over here on the left-hand side, and you see the word failure. And over on the right-hand side, you can see up the top success. And you notice there's going to be a lot of different bumps in the road. It's not always going to be smooth going from that point at the beginning all the way to where you're successful. And I'm sure you've seen that through your career in a lot of different things. I know success is when I get that final closeout, on a job, the NOT. Whew, man, I know we are at the finish line at that point, right? But failure, you're going to start out as a team, and the first thing, coming together as a group, you're going to have some bumps, right? You're going to have some issues, some challenges, a problem, because you're trying to figure out how to work together as a team. And that's not always easy, right? And you've really got to lay out those ground rules, really come together as a team. And then you're going to hit that first obstacle and think, oh my gosh, this is not going to work, okay? And you're going to come back down, you're going to crash. And it may be a little bit of time, but you will hit your stride. Y'all will start working together as a team, being effective, being very efficient in what you're doing in your task, and ultimately you will be successful, right? It's not an option for us not to deliver some of these projects. We will deliver them. This is actually, I guess, the official version of what a team performance curve looks like. On the x-axis down here, you've got team effectiveness, so you're thinking about how effective you are as a team. On the y-axis, you've got your performance impact. So all of you guys are coming together as a working group. Here you are in the blue. You're starting out in the very beginning. Then the first thing you do, you're not going to be very effective. So that's why you're all the way over here on the far left-hand side. You're not effective because you just got together as a group. Well, the first thing you start working, what happens? You go a little bit of time, and then it says pseudo team. Pseudo team, we're already sitting here at the bottom. Pseudo team is where you're really trying to figure out how to become a team, work together, and you're going to have low performance and low productivity at that point, okay? It's going to happen in every team. And every time you're going to hit that sag before you hit the stride. So like I said, you're going to hit that point where you're going to start doing some tasks, you're going to be knocking some stuff off your checklist, things are getting done, you're feeling good, you're going to become that potential team. And then finally, as you, kind of like I said, mentioned before, you're going to hit that stride and you're going to become a high performance team. So just know it's going to happen. Know that the point in the bottom down here when you are a pseudo team and you're going to hit that bottom, that conflict is going to happen. It's okay. It is okay. It's going to happen with every new team. But as long as you keep trugging through, keep going, you will be a high-performing team through it all. High-performance teams, like I mentioned earlier, they don't wait around, okay? They're always thinking about what's next. What have I got to do next? They're very proactive. A high-performing team is very proactive, constantly thinking about the next steps to do, okay? You're not just sitting there waiting what to be told to do. You are already thinking about the next steps. What are those potential conflicts? Is this going to be an issue? Maybe we need to consider this. You're always thinking forward. But that's what a team performance curve is really going to look like. So there's 5 different stages of team development. Okay, 5 stages. If you notice this curve, it looks very similar to what I just showed you in the performance curve, doesn't it? Kind of that same curve. When you come together, it's called forming. Okay, you're forming as a team. You are coming together. You had the kickoff meeting a little while ago. You're coming together. You're meeting each other. You're going to form. You're going to hit that dip, as I mentioned. That's where you're a pseudo team, less productive. That's storming. You're going to have that conflict. You're going to have that storming phase then you go through, and then you're going to hit the norm. Everything's working. Everybody's working together. We're communicating. We're going through the project. We're getting through some of the stages in the PDN. Everything's going well. So that's called the norming stage. And then performing. Performing is when you're working well, okay? You're at the peak of efficiency. You're staying on schedule, scope, everything's still within budget, you're doing well. And then the project gets turned in, and then we're going to adjourn, and that team's gone. Remember, okay, that a team is what we have right here. And anytime one of you leaves the team, or you get a new member of the team, you're going to go through this again. It's no different than how you are working in your disciplines right now. If you lose a member of your staff currently, the work is distributed differently, right? So you're going to have to figure out who's going to do their task. What are we going to do? It's like you're rethinking about it all together. Like, okay, what are we doing now? Then now you got a new. You hired somebody different. Guess what? It's a new team, isn't it? It's a new team. It's not the same team. You brought one additional person in, and what changed? That whole dynamic of the team. Well, now I got to delegate. So I got to give them some stuff, but they don't know what they're doing yet. So do I really, want to do this? So we've got some conflict. Who's going to train them? Who's going to sit down and train? Well, I'm not training them. So there's that time period where you're going to have the forming, storming, norming, right? You're going to go through it. So every new team comes together and goes through this. So think about it, okay? All right. Is it making sense to you guys? Are y'all seeing this like in your day-to-day life and what you do in your disciplines currently right now? Kind of some of the same concepts going on? You've heard of team norms? Has anybody heard of team norms? Anybody heard of teams norms? Like, what the heck is this? No? Some of you guys? I know there's 3 of you that know what I'm talking about. So, team norms are informally agreed upon standards that regulate the behavior of the team. It's very important to set out team norms at the very beginning because we want to be respectful as a team, right? We don't want to, for instance, Robert gives a suggestion. I'm going to pick on Robert right now. And he throws out a suggestion, right? And I'm saying, Robert, that is the stupidest idea. That is not going to work. No. How is that going to come across?
You've been talking about
I was talking to your wife. How's that going to come across? It's not going to come across well, right? So we've already got conflict within the team. We've already got some negativity going on, right? We've got to set those norms. What happens if it feels like, Brad? What happens if we have, I'm going to pick on Brad now. What if we have a meeting set up every Tuesday, okay? Every Tuesday we're going to meet at 9 o'clock. We've got a schedule to meet, and guess what? All of y'all are booked starting at 10. So we got 1 hour to get this talk through. But guess what? Brad over here, right away guy, right? Right away guy, he is late every single time. Sneaks into the back, brings his coffee, sits down. How does that feel about y'all's time? Right? We need the right away guy. We can't do any of these projects without right away, right?
That's correct.
That's right. How does that feel about your norm? What does that say? Brad's not taking this seriously. He doesn't have commitment. Is that being respectful? So you have to establish those norms in the very beginning for your project team. Who's going to establish those? You guys are. You're going to mention some things that are really important to y'all as a team in order to be successful, to be respectful, and take those into consideration. We did this as part of the Epic Academy. We had to sit down in our little groups that we were assigned to at the very beginning, and we had to develop team norms. And you could really hear when people were chiming in what was really important to them of being a part of a team, okay? One of the big things that I chimed in was the same thing that I did with Robert here, was basically to keep an open mind on anybody's comments, suggestions, thoughts, ideas. We're trying to be creative here, so you're going to have to bring some creativity and some design aspects to it, not to just shut somebody out. No, that is stupid. That's not going to work. So that was something I brought to the team because that was important to me. Just keep that open mind, because I've seen that a lot. You've got those personalities in each team that are stronger, a little bit more forceful, and then you got those people in a team that are what? They're going to sit there and they're not going to say a word, even though their brain's going 1,000,000 miles an hour and they're thinking, oh, this ain't going to work. They're not going to say anything, right? So really, you've got to establish those norms in the beginning. And that's what those are. This is some examples of some that we had pulled out from our Epic Academy from multiple groups. Now keep in mind, later on, one of the very last things that we're going to do today, a part of this training, is you guys are going to talk, all of you, together, and we're going to write down a list of what your norms are. So keep in mind if you like any of these for later on. The first off, we will respect all ideas and keep an open mind. We will work as peers in the team regardless of title or position. How many times do you get in a group and if a director or a city manager two's in there, nobody wants to talk that's else in that discipline? We're just going to sit there, and we'll sit there and wait till the director talks. I'm not going to say anything. Does that happen? For the most part? I don't know what y'all's titles are. No, Robert does start.
Our regional director starts right away.
Joe's talking, I'm not need to say anything. If he calls on me, I will speak. Otherwise, I'm going to sit there and nod. Yeah. So I don't know what y'all's titles are. I don't know what your positions, but you're all equally important. And as far as I'm concerned, in a project team, you're all equivalent. You're all important. We will listen to ideas and absorb them before responding. We will hold ourselves individually and collectively responsible for the success of the team. You're all here for a reason. You all have a piece of this puzzle of a project. Team members will hold each other accountable. We will actively participate in team discussions. That goes back to what I was saying earlier about actively participating. What does that mean to you guys? Talk. I know it's hard sometimes to talk. We learned.
It's like what you
Robert
said,
doesn't have a problem.
To me, you don't go straight to the conclusion. Don't say that's the stupidest thing I ever
Exactly.
heard. It's like, okay, here are the obstacles I see.
Exactly. Say potential issues you're seeing with it. Say some thoughts. Absolutely. Yeah. But also when you're a team, what do they say? Why am I talking? Right? Why am I talking? That's another thing, So a lot of people think, why am I talking? Am I talking just to hear myself talk, and I'm wasting that 1 hour? Brad already come late, So why am I talking? But it's really important for some of you guys to come out of your shell and speak in project teams, because whatever your piece is to this project is super important. And if something needs to come out immediately, you got to be open enough to say it. Yeah. Okay. We will assume positive intent. So if I say something and it completely offends you, know that I wasn't coming off in a negative intent. Take positive intent with a lot of suggestions or thought, Brad, no negative intent there. Very positive when you pop it in late, We will work with respect and encouragement, ask for clarification or help. If you need help, if something's not making sense, you're getting behind, go out there and ask for help. Go talk to the PM. They're the, your leader of a team. That PM is still a part of the team, but they're the leader. Go talk to them. We will develop a communication plan. Be respectful of deadlines and commitments. Very important for being at meetings. How many times you get in a meeting, you're like, I can't be there. Well, unless there's a closure of a road or an interstate or something, we need to try to be there to do your role, okay, in these projects as much as possible, unless there's some kind of big emergency. So try to have that commitment to the project team. Be on time, in task. Success looks like team acceptance and consistency on the opinion of people. So when you guys walk out of here, what does that mean? When you walk out of here and a decision's been made, okay, and that's the direction that you're moving forward with this project, I don't want anybody walking out of here saying, well, I didn't agree to that. That was Brad's idea. I didn't agree to it. It's not going to work. It's going to fail. That's what they agreed to. No. When you guys walk out of here, this is going to be a consensus, and you guys are going to agree, and you walk out, this is the project team decision, right? That's what that one's referring to, okay? You're all on the same page when you walk out of here, and you can't walk out saying, pointing fingers, that was somebody else's idea, thought, and I didn't agree with it. No, you walked out of the room, and it was agreed upon, right? Those are some examples of some norms that you may want to think about for later, because we are going to be working together as a team to identify those. So effective teams. You see this wheel, effective teams? We've got 6 different pieces of this wheel. You really need all 6 of them to be effective. The first one on the kind of top right, clear goals. We've talked about having our goals, where are we going. You've got to have trust, mutual trust. And I'm going to talk more about trust in a little bit. But how do you build trust? You build trust in all the different things I've just been talking about, right? Having commitment, being respectful, having communication with each other. Yeah. You got to know each other. Do y'all all know each other? Does anybody know me? You'll trust me? Brad, do you trust me? I'm going to pick on him because he was late.
Yeah,
You trust me? I was hoping you'd say no.
okay, I changed my answer.
You don't trust me. Why should you trust me? I haven't given you any reason to trust me. But you've got to build that sense of trust within each other, right? You do. So you got to have mutual trust. You've got to have commitment to each other, communication, leadership. You got to have leadership. We have a PM on the team, that project manager, but all of you as part of the team have some sort of leadership role being here representing your specific discipline. Okay, taking that leadership role. Consider that. And then internal, external support. You've got to have support internally within the team, the department, your disciplines, but also external support as well. So you've got to have support as a whole to be an effective team. Consider that going forward. Here we go. Here's our wisdom on this one, right? Teamwork is coming together is the beginning, right? So we're coming together in the beginning of this project. Keeping or staying together is progress. If you stay together, we're making progress. And working together, if you work together successfully, you will be successful, okay? Henry Ford said that. So you've got the beginning, you're making progress, you're going to be successful as a team. That is what real, true teamwork is. So keep that in mind. This whole process, not only for this project, but for all your future projects that you're a part of. Okay? Any questions on teamwork?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.